Hi, everyone. My name is Bruce Lombardo, and with me today for A Girl, Some Guys, and a Movie is Six Nations, 31 Kings, Mr. The Crafting Gamer, Janet from Another Planet,
Yo.
as always, and myself. We are doing some work behind the scenes here. I'm painting on the Not Tiamat miniature, and we watched a movie from 2005 called Hoodwinked, which I don't know if you've seen that or not. It's kind of hard to find on the interwebs. And thanks to a pirated copy on YouTube, we were able to watch it together. And that might be the only way to see it for the foreseeable future. It's just one of those weird movies after 2000. Trying to find a streamable copy, Amazon doesn't really have it. Didn't find it in a few other places either. Thought it was kind of interesting. But use your VPNs and do your searches, and you probably will find it. Or be like us and just, R-matey. Six Nations,
You
31
hear
Kings. How
or
are you, sir?
nothing. Aside from a sinus headache due to funky, cloudy weather today and barometric pressure, I'm doing pretty good. I'm wearing shorts. It's 29 degrees out, but I'm toasty warm.
Excellent. Mr. The Crafting Gamer, how are you today?
Doing pretty good.
Excellent. Excellent. Janet from Another Planet, how are you, hon?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Awesome. I cannot complain. I'm just doing a little bit of searching here, and I actually did find they got Hoodwinked Part 2, Good versus Evil. They have a 2006 movie. I'm not aware of this one here. Corey Edwards, Todd Edwards, Tony Leach. No idea.
Never seen
Looking
it.
at got the behind the hood. It looks like the behind the scenes. No idea what this is. This is all off Amazon.com, by the way.
All hood themed.
Anyway, that's if you're looking for the original Hoodwinked movie, good luck. Not really seeing it around here.
That's too bad. I liked it. I like that movie.
It's not bad. This movie
The
was.
fog. People tattoo.
This is a Hoodwinked film. I don't know why they have it on animation adventure. Huh.
I think it's one of those things where they
Well, it
just
was
slap stuff.
animated and it was an adventure, so that's why it's under that.
Okay.
No, he
That's
means
what
the cowboy movie, Janet.
The cowboy movie I'm currently showing off right now.
Okay.
Anyway,
It was like what was that movie? It was like the City Underneath the Sea or something like that, and it was some other name, and it was there was like a sci-fi fantasy type of thing.
I give Janet a perfect opportunity to wear her Red Riding Hood outfit. She has to
Well,
go as
the
grandma.
only Red Riding Hood outfit I have is not as tame as the one she was wearing. So I thought, well, I'll just be the granny. So that's me. I'm the granny today.
again, our 40-year-old segment and older is going to be populating probably private chat with gilfs.
I'm not going to comment.
Well, I mean, I wish I was as athletic as her, getting to go
Oh,
skiing and doing all that great
I
stuff.
would like to be even half as athletic as her.
I'd settle with half.
But I thought she was adorable. I thought the movie was really, really good. I was really surprised how good it was.
I'd never
Yeah, I didn't realize you guys were laughing so much that you had to mute yourselves. I was beginning to wonder, like, damn, did I choose
Well,
a dud here?
yeah, there was quite a few good one-liners in that, and there, it didn't have anything where I would be afraid to take my kid.
Yeah.
It wasn't dirty in any way. And it wasn't so scary that you would think it could make your kid have nightmares either.
No.
I thought it was pretty cute.
I mean, the scariest bit would be when basically the first story with Red Riding Hood. This where it also being told from her perspective, and to her, it is scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. but I loved the way they opened it, and they had the little pop-up book.
Oh
I
yeah, those
really,
little
really
entrances were
good.
awesome.
And the cartoon really wasn't bad. I mean, the
Oh.
animation was pretty good, and it was different. So it gave you a I don't know. I just liked it. It had a more homemade perspective,
It
and
was a
I like that.
snapshot of the early 2000s.
But you could tell it had a smaller budget,
Mhm.
but
It was definitely an indie film, so
the
you didn't
actors' voices made
get
up
that
for it.
that Pixar or Disney glam detracting from the movie.
But
The movie
I
was
love the music. I know Bruce didn't like it, but I really liked the music. I thought the music was very fun and upbeat. I think kids would like it, and they would probably ask to have the soundtrack to listen to.
No, I'm good. Hard pass.
Well, you're a grown
it's
up. If you had a
something that you
kid, I
find
think
in the
you'd
mall
like
as you're quickly walking to the food court to get your orange
Yeah,
Julius.
I'm gonna pass on anything sounds like Smash Mouth. I'm completely
I like
over it.
Smash Mouth.
God.
I have them in my
Ugh.
playlist.
There was a movie they were in years ago with John Cleese, and I think it was called Rat Race.
I
And
Rat Race
like
was
all these people,
kind of funny.
yeah, the kind of funny, kind of fucking funny. And like at the very end, like throughout the movie, like the movie really sucked, but like John Cleese and his rich buddies doing stupid human tricks where like they'd have the butler go through a Whitman's chocolate sampler, and they were trying to gamble on which ones he had or which chocolate he was chewing now, and doing shit like that. That was funny. But then the very end, when the oil tycoons lost all their money and all the people, the power to the people, fucking mob were like all celebrating, like we're gonna take all your money, bullshit. I wanted the movie to die. I've like that Rat Race movie had that, and then the very end, Smash Mouth starts singing, and just because their association with that movie, I've never in my life wanted to wipe my ass with a CD, but I would completely wipe my ass with everything Smash Mouth.
Not me.
Like there's
I like them.
nothing at all. Fucking
I
just
thought they
I'm
were
done.
catchy and fun and quirky. All the things that I like about
Ah,
that kind of music. And it's good to work out to.
I give me some D. Snyder or something.
Those bastards did a music video at the Del Mar Theater, which is a historic Art Deco theater in my hometown. And for frickin' like 3 months straight, my friends who worked there, I'd go and hang out with them, maybe watch a movie or whatever, and they would start busting out Smash Mouth and dancing around, and oh god, like on Smash Mouth.
I'd rather hear like 50 cats fucking.
Fine.
Well, do you guys like Fritz and the Tantrums?
Never heard of him.
Okay, well, I really love them too, so you probably wouldn't like them if you don't like Smash Mouth. But I like them.
Who was the artist that your sister was in the video for?
God,
The Rev?
Reverend Horton Heat.
Yeah, I like that.
They're good
That was
live.
all right.
Mhm.
Am I live on YouTube? I don't know. We've had StreamYard open for about 2.5 hours. We were streaming this movie. We had some technical difficulties with Gilded. No surprise there. And was enjoying myself watching this movie because this movie is really enjoyable. I feel. I think this is probably one of the better animated films to come out since the Shrek Revolution, where they kind of put the pie in the face of everything Disney.
Mhm.
Out better for them to emulate the style and just
And it was
completely get it
upbeat as
right.
opposed to cynical.
I liked
Janet's gotten her first
that it was
compliment.
different. I like the fact that they didn't try to be Disney. They were themselves, and they were proud to be themselves. And they did the whole story On it seemed like on a shoestring budget, but they didn't skimp on the voices and they didn't skimp on the soundtrack to me. I think the soundtrack was fun and enjoyable. I laughed off and on through the whole movie. I did figure out who the bad guy was, before halfway, but some people probably wouldn't, or most people probably wouldn't even. But I thought it was a great movie, and it's a movie that I would go and recommend people take their kids with them, because I think their kids would enjoy it.
Because of the cost,
they
they did this in Philippines.
Mhm.
I'm not certain what it is. I mean, I guess maybe just getting like street food in the Philippines is really cheap compared to California, but this movie was done over there. And the very end of it, that's when Weinstein Company got involved. And
because they ran out of money to produce it or to put it out, to put it out on the screens and stuff. They had made the movie pretty much by themselves, which really is impressive,
Mhm.
as good as it is. And see, that's one thing I like about Glenn Close. Glenn Close isn't one of those stuck-up snobby actresses. She will take a script if she likes it, even if it's from somebody that nobody's ever heard of, and she'll help them get it made, especially if she wants to be in it. And that's a good thing. That's why I wish more actors actually would go to some of these small film festivals and stuff and help some of these young people break in, because Hollywood is a really hard place for new people. The only sad thing is, though, when I saw Weinstein on there, I went, oh, it hurts it so bad to know that he was involved with all these young people in this
okay,
movie.
but there's a lot of other modern classics that
Mhm.
that were produced by the Weinsteins,
Yeah,
and
they
as much
make
as
good movies.
yeah,
I'm just saying, it just hurts to know that
The dark underbelly of it, though, it leaves a stain.
yeah, it sucks, but I
I didn't
mean,
know Anne Hathaway could sing. Has she been in other movies and sang?
I think so.
I didn't know that.
The princess movie that she was in.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Ella Enchanted, right?
I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
That's a cute movie. I'm not going to say it's great and watchable, but it's a cute movie.
And I didn't have a wig where it was
this
high.
filmed
A high wig. All I
by
had
a
was
company
the only
in
brown one
Manila.
I had. So I was like, I'm going to be the grandma today. I think it's cute.
It was filmed in Manila for what, $8 million, and it made like 110.
Yeah,
It cost $8
million.
million. Oh, that's right. This was made in 2000 something, right?
2004 was when they were making it, and then
90s.
2005 they released it.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed to do pretty well.
I thought they did really well, considering that they didn't really have any help until they went to the Weinstein production company to get it produced, because they'd ran out of money. So
Mhm.
I bet they had mostly small amounts of money donated to help make this movie.
Probably.
And I bet
This movie's a little hard to clap.
I bet
It's not
all
like a
of these
straight-up
actors
kid
didn't
movie.
make any money off of this movie. I bet most of them said, well, they'll take a very small amount.
No, they probably took an after.
Yeah, after. But I'm talking about when they were filming it and getting it set up. A lot of actors won't do that. They expect their contract up front.
Mhm.
And I guarantee a lot of the people that worked on it every day while they were, setting it up for the drawings and doing all the beforehand work before they can even put the voices in it, because the voice acting comes after the movie's made, basically. And then they put the soundtrack and everything to it, and then they have the sound effects, all that. I thought they did a really good job. It was interesting, though, the choice of clothing and stuff for Little Red Riding Hood's pants. She had bell bottoms on, and just little things like that. It was almost like it was a European film, like it was made in like Norway or.
Oh yeah. That's where the Woodsman comes in. Schnitzels are heavily European.
Okay, well, that before that.
So that base is the forest in Europe.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is in the story, you didn't really realize that it was like a modern day. Could have been any forest, in North Carolina. It could have been. It was the clothing of Little Red Riding Hood, her pants, the embroidery on her pants, little things like that, that they had a lot of detail in. Even inside of the little homes and everything in the drawings, it was very detailed. It wasn't like, like I was saying, I don't know if you guys heard me, but I was talking at the beginning when I said it reminds me a lot of a SpongeBob SquarePants, the movie. You know how they did the anime on the walls, and it was very little things anywhere. It was just very little in the background.
Which
This
is funny.
one had plenty of stuff.
Tom Kennedy was in it.
I was
was in a
very
minor
pleased
role
with how this came out. To me, it reminded me of claymation because the animation's not really
Stop
super
motion.
smooth. It was really like a stop motion film.
Yeah,
Like,
the water scene with the grass moving. The grass was even moving on the edge of the water. And then the way they did the little explosion when the dynamite exploded in the water, little things like that. It definitely looked like they had to use something else besides just, cartoon animation.
I agree.
I mean, I don't know. I'd have to research it. But I thought it was really, really well done considering these were just a bunch of, because I'm reading right now, it says it was Corey Edwards.
Mhm.
He was the director. And then you had, I was trying to find the other young man.
Todd Edwards.
The guy that played Twitchy. He was also part of the writer. And then you had
That
the
was Corey.
brother. Todd Edwards was a writer, and then you had Tony Leach. He was also a writer, and then Tony Leach also was the editor, and he was really good. The editing was really, really, really well done. I think
Very tight.
Anime. Mm-hmm.
See, I think this movie really was just better along this Red Riding Hood storylines, and when the Wolf did his perspective of everything, I thought it was probably that was the tightest.
Mm-hmm.
But I also like Pat Warburton sells it. He knows how to be a good voice actor.
I loved.
So the producer.
Sorry.
The producer David Lovgren apparently worked on Fantasia 2000 and the direct-to-video Little Mermaid 2, Back to the Sea, or whatever it was supposed to be, and apparently he moved to Manila to do indie thing after that. So, like, if you remember, Fantasia 2000 kind of flopped big time. And so that was probably the reason film of Hoodwinked, because like at that time he was doing that. Animation films weren't as hot until so that kind of explains that. Either they got paid in Lumpia, and I would totally
was Shrek
work
a
on
Disney or was it
film with
Pixar?
DreamWorks.
DreamWorks. Okay.
Shrek was
Yeah, I thought that Nicky Flippers was my favorite character. I thought he had the best voice, the best. I don't know that I loved when I saw him walk in with his dog. I thought it was just so cute. I just laughed. I thought it was adorable, and his accent, because he was so smart, smarter than anyone else that was in there. And then the three pigs eating all the food, and they were cops. I thought all of it was really well done, very entertaining. The whole thing.
Nicky Flippers kind of had that Claude Rains vibe to him, which I liked.
It was almost Columbo-ish to me. My mom loved that TV show.
And then it turns out to be
the way he was solving crime.
David Ogden Stiers from MASH. Like, that guy was so damn talented.
Anybody else get the feeling? Anybody else watching this get the feeling that it felt like they had watched Fletch Lives or Fletch right before this?
They probably.
I can't be the only one.
No, I think to me it was like a mixture of different movies
I can see
or
that.
TV
I
shows
can see
mixed
that.
together. It was like they took everybody's point of view. It was like, just like I said, you could to be the lumberjack guy, okay, was drawn totally separate from someone else. You know, you could tell that different people drew different
Let's
characters.
just call him Jim Belushi because that's what he was. He was Jim Belushi.
Yeah, it was pretty pathetic. He was the worst drawing in it. Now, see, maybe if they had better drawing for him, because the wolf drawing was the best. Him and the frogs, two characters, whoever did those two drawings for those two characters were phenomenal. I mean, they just looked good. I loved the voices coming out of them. They fit. They fit their mannerisms, what they were saying. I just loved the wolf. I just thought the wolf was awesome, but the frog was just a little bit better, I thought. But I like both their characters the most. They drew me in, and I wanted to hear everything they had to say, and especially I love the way that they started the movie. You saw what happened in all came together in the granny's house, and then all of a sudden it stops, and then you get to see the different parts of it. I really like that. I love the way they did that.
Yeah.
The different perspectives. I thought it was really good.
Well, you don't see too many. Most time when you watch movies, it's a third person or a first person's perspective. In this one, it's everybody's perspective. How did everybody see that particular situation?
How it led up to the last moment when everything came unfolded. And what was funny though is that nobody asked Grandma who knocked her out and tied her up and put her in the closet. That was one of the things I thought was so funny about the movie. I was like, okay, she's the victim, yet no one asked her, about that. So I just thought that was hilarious, especially her own granddaughter. When she came out of the closet to save her, and then the woodsman fell in, all that different stuff, and they weren't saying, well, what happened? Why were you tied up? I don't know. I just thought that was to me was the biggest gaffe, for the story. But I still thought it was really, really good. And I really do think kids today that love Roblox and love to play some of these other games that they have out would love this movie if they haven't seen it. Because they don't care so much. They're not as picky as adults. I've been with so many grown-ups that have gone to see animated movies, and they bitched and moaned while they're sitting next to me when I went to see South Park. And they were griping because they said it was horrible cartoons and stuff like that. And I was like, have you ever seen the show? I mean, I was shocked. It just like Futurama. I love Futurama. And it isn't, you could tell they weren't genius drawing people. You know what I mean? It's just that that's what made it fun to me. The Simpsons wasn't even really well drawn, but it wasn't so much, it was unique. You know what I mean? It was a whole new way of looking at art. Someone else's art is different than someone else's. There's something about it that pulls you in and you enjoy it. And I just like that. That was really cool.
The Simpsons, they've been using that style of art that Matt Groening did back when he was like doing Akbar and Akbar.
Yep.
40-something years ago. So this movie, it's kind of hard to define. It's a fairy tale parody, action adventure, obviously animated. It's got non-linear storytelling like classics like Rashomon, Pulp Fiction, etc. Then you got early 2000 references, like Granny is doing extreme sports. So if you remember all the X Games and what was it, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, all that stuff.
Yeah, and Tony Hawk, wasn't he in the Olympics snowboarding? Who was that? What was his name? That first one.
Oh, he's a skater.
I just remember watching him, and I was so excited for him because it was the first time that he ever got to be in the Olympics, and he was just a a snowboarder and a skateboarder too. I'm sure he skateboarded, but I was real excited about it. I thought it was really really good. So Devil
an
Card, did
actor,
you see the
producer.
movie? Just asking.
When you first saw this crafting, did you see this at the theaters? Was this a movie you saw at the theaters with the parents and family?
No, I've only seen one movie in the theaters, and that was the Simpsons movie. This is something we seen, I think, 2 or 3 years later when it came out on DVD.
You've only seen one movie in the theaters.
Yes.
So you didn't get to see South Park at the movie theater? Oh, well, man, that was or even Team America World Police. That was
I didn't see that at the theaters, Janet. I
no.
wanted to.
dang, it was good.
That would have been awesome.
Some movies are just, yeah, they're classic at the
I would
movie
have
theater.
pissed my pants if I'd
Deadpool,
seen it at the theaters.
not getting to see Deadpool
Seriously,
at
it
the
was
theater,
great.
that would be bad.
So go ahead.
I just was kind of curious. Like, when did you guys first see this movie? This is my first viewing of it today.
Mine too.
This movie I saw, I think it was on DVD, if I remember correctly. Maybe it was VHS. No, I think it was DVD. Anyway, my cousins were watching it on TV, and we were doing something. I think it was like a family dinner, and we were hanging out with extended family. And in between running back and forth through the kitchen, I would catch this, and I was like, yeah, this is actually pretty decent. Like, normally when my younger cousins are sitting in front of the TV, it's like Barney or Thomas the Tank Engine or whatever the current thing is. Like, unless it's like old school 80s cartoons or G.I. Joe or some really
Peppa
cool
Pig.
animation from Disney. No.
Did you watch that?
I don't do the Peppa Pig. I'll put the kid in front of the TV and then leave the room, and that's as close as I get to it. But no, I've always enjoyed animation. My parents were awesome. They had a very thin filter when it came to cinema and animation. So like when the Last Unicorn came out, I saw that in the theater. Secret of Nim, Black Cauldron, all that traumatized the hell out of me, but I'm better for it, I think. So I've got an appreciation for animation and dark humor and adult themes. So like when I saw this, I was like, oh, I'm picking up on a few cues here and there, and like for the kids, they're totally gonna miss it, but it was good. Like, it wasn't overtly adult. It was enough to keep the parents interested. Kids are going to be fawning over all the goofy characters, very cartoony, and it was good balance. And it's one of those rare films that you can like sit everybody in there. They're not going to get fully. They don't.
Mm-hmm.
Don't invite them to Thanksgiving dinner later.
The scariest part for me in this movie was the part where they're in that old mining cart, the wolf and his little squirrel friend, and they had all that dynamite and he's holding the candle.
Yeah.
I just started laughing. I thought it was so cute. And then he goes, get rid of it. And he throws it down and behind him. And then you see it rolls across the floor and lights all the sticks of dynamite. And they're both chucking them over their head like that. I just thought it was adorable the way that they pieced that together and why the track ran out when Red Riding Hood went over it and it disappeared, because I was trying to figure out why would they have that up there with no tracks? What happened to it? So now that was answered when I saw the whole thing with the dynamite. I thought that was just really, really funny. I thought that was really good, funny. The story was even cute. The Goody Bandit or whatever, and everybody's losing their jobs because they're going out of business because they don't have recipes. I just thought that was, to me, that all funneled towards grandmas, type of thing. And then they made Grandma a hero, which I really liked that. It was different. And no, I didn't feel like it was woke at all. That I didn't see any woke stuff in it.
No. Well, I never said it was. I said it's right
No,
on
I
the.
know you didn't. I said
Yeah.
that I thought it was
Yeah,
good because
okay.
they
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
have something in it like
Oh
that.
yeah. For those who
Good
missed it,
movie.
for those who missed what I said before, this movie, if you look at it the wrong way, can be seen as woke. But what it's actually doing is making fun of the Lady Boss, because this was at the beginning of Lady Boss really becoming popular,
Yeah.
much like Lady Ballers did.
hmm Yeah, I like Lady Ballers too.
Japat. That was the name of the goat. Okay, I can.
Oh, the goat. Oh, I laughed.
The goat was hilarious.
I laughed too. The whole goat was adorable. Who was the goat, anyways? Who played the voice of the goat? What was his name?
Apparently, it is listed as
Woolworth?
Benji Gaither, but I don't know who Benji Gaither is. It's not highlighted on Wikipedia, so maybe I can.
Woolworth. Who? What
click
character
that.
was Woolworth? That he was the
Woolworth was
the
Chaz.
black-headed, the black sheep. Was he the black sheep?
Chaz Pullman Terry.
Yeah, but was that
He was Woolworth.
Oh, I love that whole thing
Yeah.
when you see the sheep going, excuse me, going through it. You know, a sheep in or a wolf in sheep's clothing. I thought that was really cute. And then when he went up there, and then you see the black-headed sheep when he's got a gold chain around his neck, I just started crying. Almost started crying, laughing so hard. But it was when he started talking, you know, and he kept saying, "Well, I don't know what you're talking about," and he pulls out a 20. He says, "Yeah, oh yeah, I remember that." I just thought it was hilarious, simply because you're looking at sheep, you know, standing around, and the women are all stupid, the dumb sheep females, and then you got the smart guy with the black hair and a chain around his neck, and then you had the wolf wearing sheep's clothing, handing 20s. I just thought it was really funny. I laughed a lot.
Yeah.
Through that scene. I thought both of them, the way they spoke to each other and stuff was just. It was great. I mean, I just like that actor, Patrick Warburg. Is that Burton or whatever his name is?
Warburton.
Yeah, I just love him. I love him in every show he's been in. He was in Seinfeld. He was in a couple other TV series. I always thought it was really funny. Yeah, The Tick. That's right. He was in The Tick too. But he's just funny. He's just a funny guy. I think he's funny. He's totally different than other actors, and that's why he sets himself apart from the rest of them. But he's funny and entertaining.
I think there's not a single dud he's been in. Mm-hmm. At least his own performances, he takes his craft very seriously, be it just voice acting or if he's in a physically on a live TV show. Mm-hmm. The guy's just super imposing and looks great.
Yeah, he was just good.
On The Tick, he was just, I think he just redid his Seinfeld character for The Tick because he had that one. He was Elaine's boyfriend for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was funny.
Yeah, he's just naturally fucking hilarious, I think. So this movie was really good. I could tell the scenes where he's there in studio whenever they're doing the voice acting. It seemed like there was two speeds to the movie. There's like the stuff where you can tell Pat's in the booth next to you and he's making you laugh and you're trying to we're trying to get paid here, Pat. And then there's times where like Jim Belushi is like existing and it's just dragging it down. I hate to say that, but I kick Jim Belushi a lot. I'm sorry.
No, don't feel sorry, but I think I would have liked him better, his character better, if it was drawn better. It was just seemed like it was made at the last minute, and they just threw it in.
Character.
You know,
I think that was the test character, Jan. That was like, we got to see if we can animate this right. And so here's the worst Paul Bunyan ever animated and put on film.
The kids, the singing,
like I said backstage,
when he was singing and running through the trees and doing all that, all of it, the drawings of the forest, the kids, all of it was not very good. So that's why I said I could tell that different scenes were done by different cartoonists. I would love to find out, who worked on that, because I could tell the difference between the drawing, the wolf and the sheep, and even Granny was a step down from some of the other characters. I mean, you could just tell by the way that they performed up on screen, on the big screen. So I'm not saying it was bad because it all worked well. I mean, the movie was good. The story was good. It had a very good script. The editing was phenomenal, I thought, considering the budget they had, and and the way that they put the music in it. It's a lot harder to do voiceovers and have it not look dubbed than people believe. It really is. It's really hard, and you're supposed to watch it as you're making it to try to make it as fit as best you can. So it's a lot harder than a lot of people think.
I don't disagree. I really don't. It looked like it was a lot of fun. Though.
It is. It's fun. I really think you should do it. I sent you that link. You need
and that's in my Discord. So you need to send me that link again.
Oh, I'll send it to you again because I have one. And I did. I have to go look it up. I did 2 kitten bowls. I don't know if you guys remember what that is. They had
kitten bowl.
They had the puppy bowl, and then you at halftime show was a kitten show with the kittens playing and talking and stuff. I did 2 kitten bowls on 2 different puppy bowls.
What was that for? Animal Planet or something?
Yeah, like Animal Planet
back in the day.
Yep, it was fun. But
whenever you do that, are you in like a booth with everybody else, like within touch distance, and you're just like
you can? But I did it from my computer. If you have the right software and a good microphone and stuff, you can do it, and you don't have people screaming and running around making noise.
One of the things, because I did some research into voice, basically what Jana's talking about, and it really what you need 3 things. A computer with software that can handle what your microphone could put out, because you need a good microphone, which is number 2, and a place that doesn't reverberate, which means a closet or a room designed not to reverberate. As long as you don't get an echo, they don't really care. As long as it sounds good and you don't get an echo.
Well, unless they want to echo.
Yeah, unless they want to echo.
What they want from you.
Yeah.
So. But you're
gotta
really
have talent and sell your hardcore. Because like, how many people can imitate voices? So now you got to like fight over, dozens of people that can do the same voice.
Yeah, see,
you really got to sell yourself.
I can't do any other voices. I just do my own voice, and I, either sultry or old, just depending on what it is, and you just try to make the character. And if they either like your voice or they like the other person's voice more. So,
I used to. If I practiced, I could probably get back to having good stage Irish. I'm going to. Well, it's not just because of that. I actually want to play the game, but there's a game that has a British character. I want to try to learn to get his accent because it's the first British accent I found I like, at least for practicing. And I'm good at Inhuman. Bruce is good for specific Inhumans. Just give me a type of Inhuman you want. You want something magical? I can give you something magical. You want something scary? I can give you something scary.
Oh damn! That sucks. That's bad news for a game developer if they start cutting corners like that. Jesus.
Like what?
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh yeah, there's been a couple of games that they were free, quote unquote, but they were not good dubs.
Well, you got to remember now that AI they're getting better and better. I mean, all you got to do is go watch some of Bear's music things he does, because he just writes a song and he has a fake person singing it and everything. So it won't be long, and you won't even have real people singing or doing voices or anything.
Well, you'll always have real people doing things, because there's going to be a good way of putting it. There's going to be a premium. It's like what's happening with real diamonds versus zirconium, cubic zirconium. Real diamonds have actually gone up in price tag because cubic zirconiums are easier to make. My parents tried to say, "Oh, as soon as they figure out how to make diamonds, they're going to go down a price tag," and I told them, "No, they're not. People are going to want the real thing over the fake, and that'll actually drive up the price tag." Like this, someone tried to say, "Oh, as soon as they figured," there was an excellent episode of what is it called? It was like not the Night Gallery, but it was a show like that. and they at the end they tried to make the basically the best possible future in it. People, and the story is guys had stolen gold, and they were waiting until the future. They were going to hibernate for the future because they had a scientist with them, and said, "Well, gold will be worth this much in the future, which means we'll be filthy rich." So they wait. So they hibernate to the future. Well, the doctor's hibernation tank broke, and along the way, one of the dudes got extra greedy and basically tricked the other dude into giving him all his gold, and then killed the other dude anyway. At the end, he's like, "I'll give you a bar of gold for water," because one of the future people drove by him. He's like, and the guy's like, "Oh, I don't know why he was trying to charge me gold for water. Gold's worthless after they figured out how to make it." It's like, no, that's you have artificial versus the real thing, and the real thing will always be worth more. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Because people will
But
pay
what's
more for
sad
the real
is
thing.
when you have a real person that can actually tell someone whether it's real or not, and they're getting paid to tell
Yeah.
people it's real when it isn't. So you got that person getting in.
Oh yeah.
So you gotta be real
Oh yeah, you got that. You'll always have
Yeah.
that problem, which is why you either got to be careful or more than willing to take
I
the risk
had
and then
one
pay to have someone
friend
appraise it
that was in
afterwards.
Vegas, and they got in trouble while they were in Vegas, and they went to sell one of their rings, okay, their engagement ring. They were married
Yeah.
though; they'd been married like 10 years, and they went to
So yeah.
sell their engagement ring because they didn't want to sell their wedding band. And when they did, they said, "Well, we'll give you this much." And she said, "Hey, no, that's a 3-carat diamond or whatever." And they said, "No, it isn't. It's not real." And then she took it to 2 other places, and they both said the same thing. So her husband had bought her a fake diamond, and she was heartbroken over it. So
wow.
it's that's why I said, so be careful what you do, because something will happen in the future. The truth will come out sooner or later, and you don't want that to be your legacy, do you?
Oh yeah, no. Well,
That's why I'm
I
gonna
will
keep
say right
that,
now.
and I stick with silver. It looks nice, goes with,
I love
and
silver.
for most people, they're not allergic. So
Yeah, I that's probably why I like it so much, because I can
buy
wear
it
it
by the
and
pound.
I don't itch. You know, I love silver. I think it's pretty
Mhm.
too. So.
But yeah, this whole diamond thing. What is that? That's low grade.
Mhm.
Then you got oh, every kiss begins with K, and oh, I got it at Jared month in particular. Like,
Have have any of you guys gotten to go to the
work out your hard-earned cash.
diamond mine in Arkansas?
I've never been to Arkansas.
Well, if you ever get to come to
Same here.
Arkansas, you need to go to the Crater of Diamonds and spend like 3 days with whoever it is you bring with you and dig for diamonds. There has been lots of people have found diamonds, all different sizes, and real ones. It's a real diamond mine
That would be kind of cool.
that you can dig in the
Because up
dirt.
here, we're known as the gem state for
Yellowish
obvious
color.
reasons.
And when we were there, 2 people found diamonds. I mean, they weren't huge, but there has been a big diamonds found there too. And
And
it's cool.
I had some pay dirt from a well, supposedly, I think it was set up. I got pay dirt from a supposedly mining well, and from a well supposedly is going to come a perfectly shaped arrowhead.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like someone set me up at all.
No, you can find perfectly shaped arrowheads. I've had friends that have done it. The only bad thing is they
At the bottom of a
Yeah.
well?
lots of people have found them in different places, because we got to
Mostly
remember
back
depending
east,
how
you'll
old the
find-
well is, because a lot of people used to dig their wells by hand. They didn't use machines. And if it's an
Mhm.
old well and it was dug by hand, they might not have seen it. Lots of people, but guess
Like on the
what?
West Coast, it's kind of hard to find
Nowadays-
ancient artifacts.
If you dig up a fossil or a meteorite or let's say an arrowhead or things like that, and then you take pictures of it and you show it, the government will come and take it from you. So
Yeah. 40 years ago, that happened to me. I found a stone spoon, and it was from the Owasso Ohlone tribe in my area,
Mhm.
and the Natural History Museum was open, and we took it over there to get it identified. And they took it back, and like 45 minutes later, they came back, and I'm like, "Thanks for the artifact." They're like, wait, like, what can you tell us about it? I was like 7 or 8 at the time, and
Did you cry?
I just found this rock that looked like a spoon. And I know up in the mountains we got areas where they used to mash acorns. There's these rock slabs where they dug out the grinding bowls for the that acorn meal or whatever. So it's hard to find artifacts like that on the West Coast, but on the East Coast it seems to be more prevalent. But you can find random bits of history. It's just location and
when I go to the beach, I take a mask, a snorkel, a couple nets, and then I always take a bucket to put stuff in, shells, things like that. I think I showed everybody the picture of all the stuff that I found, and I made a shadow box. But I've found teeth like this, shark's teeth. You can find them, and the better quality they are, you can sell them. The people will buy them for me there. But I've got 3 or 4 different teeth that I found different sizes. Now I've never found big ones like from a megalodon or anything, but other people have, and you can find them on the beach if you look. And I go every morning whenever I get to stay somewhere that's on the beach, and I just go up and down the beach all morning until it starts getting crowded, and then I stop. You never know what you're going to find, but I love it. I enjoy doing that.
Yeah, I don't go to the beach much anymore. We ended up, I don't know if you guys know where it is, what it is with where you live, but we ended up with big blooms of red-green algae or blue-green algae where we live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it happens a lot. Lots of places.
Yeah.
the lakes and the rivers. If it ain't bloom,
Yeah.
the water gets thick.
But what would you guys? How would you rate this movie?
That's a good question.
I'm going to give it a
80.
I'm going to give it a 65 because it's enjoyable. I'm not clamoring to go watch it again. There's some performances in the movie that really hurt it. Some of the quality of the movie is noticeably a little different than the rest of it. I kind of wish they'd stayed consistent with parts of the film,
Mm-hmm.
with some of the animation, but I can't micromanage everything. It's enjoyable. You can put kids in front of it; they won't learn about sexual positions of goats and shit. It's child appropriate. It's got some adult humor. It's good. It's worth it. But is it a movie that I'm going to watch over and over and over? I've not even watched Shrek in the past 20 years. I have no need to.
I saw Shrek once, and it was okay. I didn't think it was as great. Other people were just going on and on about it, but I was like, I just didn't see what they thought was so great. I thought I got more enjoyment watching Futurama episodes than I did watching Shrek. So there you go.
I watched only one part of that movie, and I laughed really hard. And that was when she started to sing, and she made the bird explode, and then she's cooking the eggs. That's it. That's the part of the movie of Shrek that I thought was the absolute funniest. Every other part was meh. Was meh. I guess I don't watch a lot of animated films or CGI movies. I'll watch Flash Gordon, The Greatest Adventure Ever. I'll watch that every year. Good movie. I'll watch He-Man Adventures. I'll watch from 86, 87 era.
Yeah.
I watch Brave Star. I'll watch the Galaxy Rangers. I can watch animation.
Jace and the Wheeled Warriors.
I can't get into Jace. Because there's a great setup for a wonderful space epic that just never ever gets to the third act.
I vaguely remember the show and the plant hentai shit, like go giggle because I got corrupted with Japanese animation.
Hmm.
I don't know. As a kid,
All the Franz.
yeah.
It's an interesting show. It could be if John Michael Straczynski would have just focused on that and finished that before he started doing other stuff, I would have been happy. But he didn't finish. He did a piss poor job of setting up a universe and wrapping it up. And I really fucking just I complain when I talk about Jason and World Warriors. Mighty Orbots. Well, the only American show
Mighty
I've ever
Orbots. There
seen.
we go.
That's the only American cartoon I've ever seen that had a season start and end, and they could have gone, for a second season, but by the end of the first season, they completely finished their entire arc. The big bad guy was gone, and they did that, and I thought that was fucking amazing because I'd never seen that before. The animation was really smooth on it, but then at the very last episode, you're like, oh my god, they actually wrapped up the big bad guy. That's awesome.
Hmm.
But I don't watch a lot of CGI. I watched Tron probably 30 times. I've seen Last Starfighter more times than what a lot of you are in age. But I don't watch a lot of there's very few CGI things I can watch.
I was thinking about the comment earlier about you not seeing certain movies in the theater, and it reminded me of the Tim Burton James and the Giant Peach. Back in grade school, we read that book, and then eventually I read it. And then, that movie came out in the mid 90s. It was, 95, 96, something like that. I remember because I was still decked out in a trench coat. And you could do that without being accused of. I went to a friend, and he still had a couple hours of his shift. And he's like, hey, I'll let you in. You can go see this Tim Burton movie. And by the time it's out, I'll be off work and we can go hang out, hit the pub or whatever. And so I go there, and it's a packed house, and all that's left is like the handicap seating, which is like an individual seat and then a spot for a wheelchair. And I'm sitting there, decked out in a trench coat, and there's all these parents and kids in there. I'm all by myself in the back row, and I'm watching the movie, and I'm really enjoying it. And then I happen to glance over, and all the parents are staring at me like I'm some PDF file. And it dawned on me. I'm like, yeah, this is an awkward situation, and now I feel uncomfortable. But I'm gonna focus on the movie and not the death glares that are on my left and right to the movie. And I really enjoyed it. It was cool animation. But yeah, that was a awkward movie experience for me going solo.
Before we get into the rest of the reviews, Jan, just give me a moment.
Oh.
If you guys have seen Hoodwinked, if you remember it, or if you watched it with us, if you have seen it lately, if you've got the DVD, put your reviews in the chat. We'll have Janet review those for you. And go ahead, Janet. I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. I just said I had to blow my nose.
You know what we're doing next week, by the way? It's a Valentine's Day special. Life Force, 1985, directed by Toby Hooper with Matilda May.
I think I've seen it. I'd have to look and see it. I don't think I have seen it though. So
I've seen that way too much to.
I saw one movie and it had a guy actor in it, and if I see the trailer or whatever, then I might be able to remember it or not. I thought it was called Life Force, and it had the poster had a big eyeball looking down at the earth. Is that the one?
Yeah.
I think I might have seen this one then.
It's Pat Stewart.
It's got zombies. It's got vampires. It's got space vampires. It's got booties.
It's got
great.
You guys are always laughing at stuff like that. But yeah, I thought the movie was really good, and I'm going to give it an 8, simply for the fact that I thought they did a phenomenal job at portraying characters that were fun, entertaining through the whole movie,
Yeah.
and the story was good. I thought it was a really good story, considering how many times have we all heard the story Little Red Riding Hood, and it was an interesting point of view in a childlike, wondrous land. You know what I mean? And it was very vibrant and colorful. Lots of the scenes were just really pretty, like some of the ones with the birds in the sky. The one where she's flying through the air and she sees her grandma right after that, when you're looking up at her, the way they did the cotton clouds and stuff just floating above her and stuff like that. I thought they did, it was very unique. I haven't seen another movie like that used animation in quite the way they did. I could definitely tell the differences between the cartoonists. So, because some of the cartooning was just phenomenal. I mean, it was so good, like the wolf character. And I thought the way they did the frog with his own little dog on a leash, and I don't know. I just really thought some of the drawings were so good, and then others were like way down, like you could definitely tell that some of the drawings, especially the lumberjack, just weren't good top quality cartooning. And but I thought the voiceovers were really good for most of the characters, and the music was. I liked the music. I thought the music went along, and I was bebopping, singing along. I just enjoyed it. It was very entertaining. So I'm giving it an 8, because a solid 8 out of 10, because it was really well done. I thought, considering when I did get to look up a few things after we were finished, was that the people that made the movie, without a professional group of people, this was just a bunch of people
Living in
that
an
were
apartment.
able to get real good actors like Glenn Close to want to voice in their movie. But it wasn't just that; it was the fact that they did all the animation and everything together themselves on a limited amount of money, and then they ran out of money, so they couldn't get a production company. They had to go out and find a production company that would put it out and get it in theaters and stuff for them. So that's when Weinstein got involved. So I was impressed. I was really impressed with the hard work and dedication. You could tell these people loved this movie, just like I said about that one, The Gamers Darkness Rising.
Mhm.
You can tell that the people that were working on this movie, that means every aspect of it, the writing, editing, the props, everything, that these people loved what they were doing, and loved that this was going to become life, real.
They believed in it.
Yeah, and I like that, and I think it comes across in the movies that they make when you have people that love what they're doing, and I could definitely feel that when I watched it. I liked it a lot. Thanks for letting me watch it.
No, you have a real big quality difference in movies, and there's times where you're watching a film and you can tell that the directing, the guy on scene that's helping the actors coach them through their motions and
Mhm,
in front of the camera, you can tell when they are sold on what they're doing. They believe in it, and if it takes them 3 or 5 or 20 takes, they're going to do it, because you can tell that there's real conviction in them. And that's one
mhm,
thing I did notice about this movie. They kept this movie on a taut leash. It has a good pacing to it.
mhm,
I was very surprised at the script. The script was really fucking good,
mhm. I thought so too.
and I wasn't really let down by anything, but just a couple things. I mean, I've already said that, but I felt this film really just it disappeared. Not many people have talked about this movie.
Mhm,
I haven't done a in depth web search, on YouTube of what actors and what critics and what people have voiced their opinions about Hoodwinked, but there's not a whole lot of reviews on it. It's not a heavily discussed movie today.
mhm.
I was
I'd never
surprised.
heard of it. I'd never ever heard of this movie until you guys brought it up, and I was like, it sounds kind of familiar, but you know, I just never heard of it to go to the movies and see it, especially it being a musical. That might be one of the reasons why I didn't see it, because most of my friends knew I didn't really like musicals, because usually they're not very good. So,
Well, Janet, I
Just a
guess we'll have.
handful. Like,
I would love to help change your opinion on that because I think the Book of Mormon is a perfect musical for you to see.
I haven't seen that.
Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
Yeah, but I haven't seen it. So,
Okay. I mean, all of their
we
musicals.
also did Cannibal musical.
Cannibal musical is great too.
I haven't seen that either.
Wow.
Jesus Christ Superstar, out of the like traditional serious musicals. I like it. They had funny hats in it too, which is a bonus in my book.
Dennis Leary said something about
I
her.
love Victor Victoria. As my mother loved musicals. Okay, my mother watched lots of musicals, and she's the one that got me to watch Victor Victoria, and I got Bruce to watch it, believe it or not. And I laughed all the way through it, and I've seen it dozens of times already, just simply because I enjoyed watching it with my mom. And sometimes I'd go visit, and she said, "Let's watch it," because she wanted to laugh. And she just loved the actors. She loved James Garner, and she loved the other actors that were in it. And so, that was one of her favorite ones. So I guess that's one reason why I liked it so much.
But you have the Music Man in that movie, and there's not a film he does where he doesn't fucking buy
He was
into.
phenomenal in that movie, in Victor Victoria.
Yeah, he's only second fiddle in his performances to the character, the con man from The Last Starfighter.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that's actually a better acting job because he really makes you feel like he's an interstellar con man.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of con in that character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he just was a good actor, though.
Mm-hmm.
You could pretty much give him any role and he could play it, and that's rare. That's very rare. And I hope that we still get those, type of people, depending on what happens with the movie industry as we go along, to see what happens. But this one did have a lot of good things in it. It had a high quality of people working on it, people that cared about their jobs, that cared about what their ending was going to be. I'm putting everything in my job, what I had to offer into this because I want it to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell that the people felt that way. Everyone involved in it because they did the best they very could with what they had. Even the animation, I'm sure that some of the people were looked at and said, "Oh, some of this isn't very good," but that's what made it more unique. It made it individual. It took it away from all the other movies, and I like that. I think, like me, I love independent movies. I just, like Lars and the Real Girl. A lot of people don't like that type of stuff, but I do. I like to see a difference. I like to see a different quality type of film that comes out, and every so often, one's written that's got all the good things in it, and people are flocked to it, even though other people would say, "Wow, that looked really stupid. I didn't want to go see it." But others go see it and they say that was one of the best movies I've ever seen. So it just, it's all in the eye of the beholder. But to me, I feel like I can feel the hard work that people put into it, and the love that they had for the characters and stuff. So even if it's a bad movie to other people, I feel like I can sense that they really loved it. Like that movie, Treasure Island, was that what it was called, with Gina Davis? What was that?
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island.
Yeah.
I knew right off the bat. I told you, I said, I could just tell that they wanted this movie to be a hit. They worked really hard, even though it was a bomb, because it lost money, because they were already in debt before they even started filming, because they had crooked people running it. It didn't hurt the movie, though. The quality of the movie and the way the movie turned out was, I thought, phenomenal. Even though they started out with it basically bankrupt, it was still really good and well done because people loved doing the parts they were in, and they loved the movie. To see it be successful, be finished.
So I got to ask, Six Nations, what's your score in this movie?
Mm-hmm.
I'd give it a 69 out of 100.
That's funny. Oh, that's funny.
No, it was good. It wasn't like groundbreaking. Didn't care for the soundtrack. I haven't heard the entire soundtrack, but I heard enough not to like what I heard. Uh, Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of musicals, but I do like some musicals,
Hmm.
and that's uh, that's saying a lot for me. Um, the animation kind of dated, but it wasn't horrible. Like you pointed out, there was differences in the quality of certain characters, so maybe they put more emphasis on certain characters, and then budgetary or time reasons or whatever, they had to do what they did. Um, but all in all, it was a good film. Uh, Engaging plot. It was fast paced for an 80-minute movie.
Hmm.
Um, it had the adult humor. It was geared towards kids and adults, which is really kind of a juggling act to do. You know, you can either
Very
do one
hard.
really well and
Hmm.
half-assed, but this was decent. Um, yeah, this is definitely one of those movies that you can sit down with all types of family members, and if you're of that geriatric age, you're going to be falling asleep through it anyhow. So, like, let the young kids uh, giggle at the bunny and whatnot. It was good. It was good. Um, the squirrel. The squirrel was one of my favorite characters because it reminded me of my brother when he was on Ritalin, and he'd go and drink coffee, and like true story, he had 3 cups of coffee after taking his meds, disappeared. We thought he went outside for like the entire day until we heard a crash, and he was like reorganizing his room and had just torn apart everything and then like knocked over a dresser, and that was the only indication that we knew he was still in the house. He was like so focused on everything else, and then he tried to move his dresser and knocked it over. And we're like, holy shit! Okay, maybe we shouldn't do that thing that they said no drug interaction with caffeine.
But did he finish his
So
room? Did it get finished before he crashed?
yeah, until he knocked over the dresser and made a big mess. But it was funny. We're like, holy shit! This kid's still in grade school. He was freaking.
Yeah, I thought Twitchy was really funny. He was a good character.
And so, like, every time I saw that, I think of my brother tripping out on his Ritalin, and it makes me giggle because not only is the character funny and the situation
Hmm.
funny, but then I got that memory of my brother tweaking out. Oh, the '80s, gotta love that. 69 out of 100. I'm sticking with that. I would say go see it with your family. You got small kids, nieces, nephews. They're gonna love it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Crafting. I know this is a movie you suggested, but I got to know what's your rating on it? What's your score?
I'd have to say 80, 80 out of 100. It's not a perfect movie. I don't think I've ever seen something I would call a perfect movie, but this is still very high up, and I still absolutely love it. I was a little afraid when we rewatched it that I was going to be, well, that was like 10 years ago, and now it's not nearly as good. But no, it was exactly what I remember.
This thing's like 20 years old too. So yeah.
Yeah.
But honestly, I honestly believe that if I was to get a bunch of kids together in a school that play Roblox and I put this in for them, they would all love it if they haven't seen it before.
Oh yeah.
Simply because it is different. It's different than Disney, Pixar, and all the other cartoons. And the story's funny. And it's got upbeat, fun music that they would like dancing around to. I really think that they'd like it. Kids aren't as particular as we are, or as picky about exactly every little detail on cartoons. All you got to do is go back and look at some of the cartoons that you liked when you were little. on Saturday, and then watch them today compared to the cartoons they have now. It's
Yeah.
nothing. There's no comparison. They're outdated. The cartoons,
Oh, yeah.
but if it's entertaining, it's entertaining whether it's bad drawing or not.
Yeah. Oh, I absolutely loved Tom and Jerry as a kid, but by the time, actually, before I hit 18, probably by 11, 18, before I even hit my teens, I'd say by about 11, 12 at most, I kind of drifted towards cartoons that had story. Like, for example, I don't know how far it spread in amongst the Fox network, but for a while around here, our local Fox had something called the Fox Box, which was just a bunch of cartoons every Saturday morning. And for a while, they had a bunch of different animes, and that was my first introduction to anime. And it was the animes that I gravitated towards as at that age, because it was stuff like Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic X, which is basically someone in some company in Japan got a hold of the Sonic franchise and actually made a Sonic anime, which is actually really, really good. I saw One Piece there, which I know a lot of people like, oh God, One Piece, the show that never ends. And there's another one. I can't remember what it is now. Like, they also had was a definitely American made the more modern Ninja Turtles, but it was anime style. Like, I really gravitated towards. That's what that other one was called, Ultimate Muscle. It was a wrestling anime. Really weird. But I gravitated towards things with storyline.
Based off of the muscle toys, I wonder.
I have no idea.
I'll have to look that up.
It had
Just like I'm going to
character
push.
called Kid Kaor, Kid Muscle.
There was a show.
Kevin
I was going
Mask.
to ask you guys this the other day when we were playing our game during one of the breaks. There was a show on TV, and I loved it. It was so good. I thought it was such a good show for kids to watch, but I can't remember what channel it was on, and I don't see anything like it today. And it was like, I think it was called Battle Bots or something.
Oh yeah, BattleBots. That was also an anime that I watched. Thank you.
Chainsaws on them, and I mean, this had all kinds of stuff. They had the two teams fighting with their robots. I just thought that was so great because it really made kids be able to sit down and build something, that to fight another robot and then go in and battle each other. And I don't, what happened with that? I mean, they don't do anything like that anymore for kids or whatever?
No, now we have Call of Duty and drone pilots.
Yeah, see,
and we also have when it comes to TV shows. Yeah, and when it comes to TV shows, we also have. We don't want kids to learn good things. We don't want We don't want kids to learn useful skills. We want kids to learn what it means to be gender 5,000 gender thing, because that's how they need to think. Sorry, that one that's a little bit personal, because thanks to bullshit like that, my niece thinks she's the 5th gender.
Oh, okay. Well, I just was going to ask you that the other day, and it popped in my head when we were talking about some of the other things that people are able to.
Yeah, those type of shows have pretty much gone out the window, even on Channel 7. Well, I should say PBS. Sorry, it's Channel 7 up here. You don't find shows like that anymore for children. It's always subliminal messaging of some kind.
See, if I was rich and I could own a TV station or something, that's the kind of stuff I'd want to have in it, because I think it would. I think people would watch it. I really do think people would want to make shows and put shows like that on. Ones where you have to be interactive and you're hands-on type thing. I think it would be really cool.
Oh yeah, it's like there's a show I used to love to watch. Zimufu. It had the Crap Brothers. Now they have another show. It is straight up industrialism, bad. Technology, bad. Not letting nature grow naturally, bad.
That's what happened to California, basically. Just let it grow, because that's how it's supposed to be.
I disagree. You have to be dominant over nature. Doesn't mean like switching and burning coal.
Well,
time, but
well, here's the thing. Up around here, I'm surprised we have that, because up around here we're loggers. Logging is what this area was built on, and we have a lot of loggers today. However, 90% of most of those loggers are 100%. Yeah, we'll replant after we cut a tree down.
But see, they do that
And
in
that's
Arkansas. It's called. There's a
Yeah.
company called Warehouser, and they plant like acres and acres and acres and acres
Yeah.
of trees.
So
And they go in.
oh yeah, so up
They're
around
not
here
completely cut out. You know what I mean? It's like stacked
Oh,
in
yeah.
different age groups or something.
Oh yeah, that's kind of I think we would do up around
Yeah.
here. But up around here, it's not. Oh, you got to take care of nature. It's we're sustaining what we have for future generations. But it's not the subliminal messaging bullshit. It's the all right. If we take everything, our kids won't have shit attitude. So we can't do that. So
On the other side of the coin, down here, you know, let's say you're traveling through Winnemucca to get to lower Idaho. You got all those damn hares everywhere. Jackrabbits,
rabbits,
bajillions of
Oh,
them.
they're-
Yes.
they are
And they
they
end
are
up-
permitted to be hunted year round up here. Like there's hunting seasons.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. You can shoot a rabbit out of season around here. They're that annoying.
Like we have
Buddy of
our
mine actually
conservation.
caught a couple of hares and
You have
made
to have
rabbit
rabbit. You have to have a license to shoot rabbit there.
stew. No.
So we don't.
In certain areas, a lot of creatures are seasonal hunting. Like as far as I know, you don't have to. You have to have a hunting license, but you don't have to have special permits to go for a duck, unlike a deer. But rabbits, you don't have to shoot in just hunting
Mhm.
season. You could shoot them out of hunting season because
And
they are considered
squirrels.
pests. And squirrels, yeah. Anything around here considered a pest, you can shoot out of season.
Well, I went
The
outside
laws
for
are
a-
a little strange from county to county too, because like Caldwell, I've got family out there in Caldwell, and like on one side of the highway is their little HOA community. It's still considered farmland out in that area. You can't shoot quail or geese or whatever, but they're flying over all the time. You know, on the other side of the road is where it begins, where you can literally walk out there with a shotgun and shoot them out of the sky and go hunting. So it's put out, but
Yeah.
we like our nature out here. If you want a bag of moose, you can only do it once.
Well, yeah. Well, we like nature around here too, but
Have you ever had?
we like having it.
Have you ever eaten moose?
Oh, sorry.
Have you ever eaten it?
Yes, I have.
Is it good?
Yeah, I would say that it's good.
I wouldn't want to go hunting for something if I've never had it before. If I
Yeah.
I have a friend that won't eat deer.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. How's that? 100%.
They said they won't eat deer at all because when they were a kid, and they had went and saw Bambi, and it was a couple nights later, they were eating dinner, and everyone was talking about how good the food was and stuff. And that's when the dad had said they were eating deer. And she's like thinking about it for a minute. I think she said she was like 7 or 8 years old. And then she said, "What do you mean deer? What do you mean? What does that mean?" And he said, like when I went hunting, I got a deer. And she went, "You mean like Bambi's father?" And he said, "Yeah." And she went, he spit it out, and she hasn't been able to eat deer since. So it can be traumatic to some kids depending on the situation they're in.
Yeah, well, Disney that right there is one of, I don't know if it's the first, but it's one of the first videos that started all this bullshit. Because that subliminal messaging is hunting bad.
Well, see, but everyone I know that grew up hunting, they didn't look at Bambi the same way, as somebody else that never was around hunting.
Oh yeah, but most kids, even I, partially refused to eat deer for a few years because of that movie. And I grew up around it.
I
Around
never
hunting,
stopped
that
doing that.
is.
I think it's good.
Lucky you. I knew several people that stopped eating, that never ate deer and refused to eat deer, refused to go hunting, and will quote to this day, basically that hunting is evil. And when I ask where that started, basically they'll cite Bambi.
And what's funny is
I don't want to take I don't want to take young. Basically, I don't want to take a baby's deer mother from it. It's like,
well,
do you have any retarded
I
idea
had
of when you're
I had
supposed to
some
hunt?
friends from Spokane, Washington, that
Yeah.
felt the same way. They used to go on and on about how we shouldn't be able to shoot certain animals in the woods and things like that because they're natural habitat and all that kind of stuff. And I said, well, you have to, sometimes you have to, like when I lived in Idaho, I remember they had a really bad winter, and that following year, it wasn't very good. We didn't have a lot of water, rain or anything. So we had drier, prairies, and everything was just drier. Wasn't as much grass. And you had deer coming down into the houses and eating the nice, manicured lawns and eating trees, and stuff, bushes. So they said, well, we have to take some more of these deer out. So they had a special hunting, permits and stuff put out for people.
Yeah.
And they did it for rabbits too. They were all saying, go out and get as many jackrabbits as you can because we're infested. So it was like the Idaho Club sandwich. Do you guys remember that? It was a long time ago. I don't remember how long ago it was, but maybe
I might not have been alive,
in the
or
90s,
I might not have been.
but they had t-shirts.
I was 91,
Okay.
so I'd have been too
Well,
young.
there was
to
t-shirts
really
and they
remember
had
that.
little rabbits in between two pieces of bread and had X'd out eyes on them. I just remember that. It was called the Idaho Club sandwich. Everyone was saying how awful that was.
Well,
And then, but what was funny is they were griping and complaining how horrible people were and that people are savages and everything. And then one day we were sitting around and they weren't saying anything. There was a couple, they were together. And we were like, well, aren't you guys going to get in this whatever it was they were talking about? And they went, no. And they go, and then someone said, oh, they're changing their tune now. And I said, what do you mean? They go, well, their cat just got eaten by a bobcat because they're overrun with bobcats. And they weren't hunting them or anything because they weren't allowed to. And I said, well, that's what happens. They eat everything, eat all the rabbits and the squirrels and stuff. So guess what they're going to eat? They're going to eat your dog and your cat.
Yep.
So that's one reason why you need forest management. And a lot of people just don't understand how that works. But if you want to save the woods and you want to save the animals, you have to make sure they have plenty to eat and there's just plenty of food for all without having them come in and kill your toddler out of the backyard, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, it's like a couple of years ago, like geez Louise, quite a few years ago. I came damn close to killing deer I had no intentions of eating. Why? Because we had a deer attack one of our dogs, and it later on killed him. And I wanted to, because come to find out later, one of our neighbors had been feeding the deer. So the deer had no fear of dogs and no fear of humans.
Yeah.
Luckily that I mean, I hate to say it this way, but luckily that neighbor also lost an animal and stopped feeding the deer because of it.
Yeah, my sister Dana, she lives like 3 miles down the road from me, and she took some pictures one day. She said, guess what? I'm going to take down a couple of my bird feeders. And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, well, look what's out back. And she took some pictures, and it was the black bear out there just shaking it and then eating it off the ground. So she's like, well, can't afford it. Too expensive. But plus it's dangerous, But they're going to find
was
food.
Before
they're going to get it.
Prion didn't here. Now, I think that was kind of in the middle of COVID when they announced that. So I don't know if it was actual prion disease, because I know, I think it was Washington and maybe Oregon. They came out positive for prion, and then all of a sudden Idaho got an announcement. Oh, there's the deer that's got prion, but I don't know if that was actually even legit or not, or just one of those internet rumors. But yeah, people feeding deer because they look cute and everything.
That's another thing. Is I wish more people knew more or would try to find out more about deer and things like that, because a lot of deer, at least in my area, I have lots of deer. They have twins. Yeah, they have twin babies, and they'll lay them somewhere they'll lay down somewhere like in the bamboo, or and then another one will be somewhere else, and the mom goes out and eats grass, and then she'll come back and get the baby when she's ready to move on to another area. And a lot of people
Oh,
think the
yeah.
deer is just been abandoned. And I'm like, well, don't touch it. Just leave it alone. Come back later that night. And if it's still there, then if it's still there at night and there's no mother around, then yeah, it's been abandoned. You'll have to get called, someone to come take care of it. But don't touch it during the daytime, because then a mother will abandon it. But they do that. That's nature. But they don't know, because these people are from the city and then they move to the country, and they think that and plus they find out the hard way a lot what are poisonous snakes and what aren't too.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't mess with nature if you don't know what you're doing.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of people up around from California. Like, they actually proudly admit it, and like I got really good kick out of this one. The people
I'm
from
from Northern
California.
California, so they're probably Southerners.
Well, here's the hilarious thing. Up here in North Idaho, they literally tried to do a California thing where I don't know what exactly it is, but basically they tried to do the California ban on guns.
Mhm.
And
hell with
all of
that.
us Northern Idahoans are like, fuck you. Every single one of us have
They can
guns.
go fertilize our gardens.
Yeah. Even I had a gun by 8 years old. I literally owned a gun by 8 years old. My sister, well, she didn't own a gun nearly as soon as I did, but she also didn't show the interest in them that I did. She learned how to use my 22 because that's what I got, but she didn't show that much interest. But when she became an adult, she owns like 6 guns to herself now, and that's not including her husband, who owns like, I think 5. No, she owns 5. He owns 10 or 5, something like that. Between the two of them, they own double-digit guns. It's hilarious.
So what are you concentrating on over there, Bruce?
I'm looking at some things also on the money side of this movie.
Hear about
Yeah,
that.
what kind of stuff? What's it say?
Well, they're estimating they're talking between $5 million and $8 million was spent total on the budget for this, but they have a fuzzy number. But for the worldwide box office was between 110 million and 118 million.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't really have a good number here.
So they don't have like DVD sales or anything like that afterward?
I'm just getting box office numbers, not DVD.
I know, but I'm saying, because I don't remember seeing any kind of, I don't even see it on any streaming.
Whenever we do this, Janet, I rarely ever see any information about rentals, DVD sales, merchandise, anything. Unless it's a franchise everybody knows and loves, like Star Wars or something, that's never brought up. Or if in case it's a cult hit that's discovered in the rental market after release, like what Big Trouble in Little China had.
Yeah.
Because that was released to $3 million of ads, which they didn't know how to market it. And then when it hit the blockbusters, family videos, that was when that movie took off. Nobody saw it because what was out that summer? Aliens. So nobody saw Big Trouble in Little China in theaters. However, once it hit the rental market, it absolutely ascended.
Yeah.
So this movie here, I'm not seeing a whole lot of toys. I'm not seeing a lot of lunch boxes. I'm not seeing a lot of anything. I'm just seeing like hoodwink stuff here and there.
I wanted to ask something about that. Do you think that the fact that it was involved with Weinstein and some of this bad stuff was coming out about him?
No.
To affect the movie or not?
I don't think any of that affected it. Because 2006, whenever that was released.
I don't know. I remember 5 or 6 different times people coming out saying that they were assaulted by him, every so many years. And then
but it didn't really start getting traction until 2013, 14.
Yeah.
And then in 15, we had, the start of the crazy shit with Harambe, which I still blame for the first Trump. I know that sounds like I don't like Trump. I love Trump. But Harambe, I
It's in my
feel,
top
is the
10.
start of this this timeline we're on.
Trip.
And then right after that, I remember Me Too getting detoured and shoved in our face, and I just kind of laughed because that's just what you do when you're born with a dick. And somebody's like, "We're gonna take down the patriarchy," and I'm like, "Okay, go ahead. Here's the keys to the truck. Go figure out sanitation. Go fuck yourself." And that's pretty much where I'm at. So I just, everything I'm seeing on this movie, nothing to do with Weinstein's penis whatsoever or any controversy.
Yeah.
It's all, this movie is the victim of basically a small budget and a small release, and it got improved. They did make 2 sequels for it.
Hmm.
The problem is the sequels are not that good. They're not
See, the thing is, what I'm surprised is with someone like Glenn Close in it, even though she was just a voice, I thought that some bigger names like that would push the movie. But I guess it was past her, really her prime, I guess you would say. So she was older when she did make this movie. So that might be one reason why.
If it was like 30 years earlier, it would probably have gotten a little bit more notoriety at least.
Mhm. But I was just trying to figure it out because I was like, just like I said, I didn't realize the other movie that we watched with Gina Davis was when you said it was in the Guinness Book of World Records for the biggest box office bomb, I was like, why? It was so good. And then when we looked into it and we found out all the shit going on back behind the scenes between the different production companies, that's when we realized, well, poor people were already in $60 million in debt before they even started filming, and they already paid, already had everybody in place and ready to go. And they were like, well, we have to do the best we can with no stuntmen, and scrounge up some costumes and whatever, because they got screwed basically by the production companies, because all they were thinking about was money. And that's like, I've said many times that the production company gets a script, they don't really even care what's in it. They just say, okay, I want this name or that name, because they got contracts they got to fill, and they want to put big names in there just because they think that throwing a couple big names in there is going to make them some money, and then they also do some charity. They have like 2 or 3 movies that we made for charity purposes, like a student film or something like that, where they throw a few $1 million that way because it's a tax write-off and it makes them look good. So, there's a lot of movies they just don't give a shit about. And that's just the way it is, I guess. Hopefully that'll start changing to where, that's why I really like film festivals, because you can go and watch a film, a short or something, and say, damn, that was pretty good. And then if someone big, a good actor or someone sees a short that is, could be made into a movie, they'll go find the people that did it and say, hey, can you rewrite this script and make it for a feature film or a TV series? And, I'll help you work on it. And that's how a lot of people get known and start getting into, making movies and things like that with other people, because it's really hard to get broke in. That's why they make 20 movies over and over and over again, because they already own the rights to it and stuff, and they don't want to have to look and find somebody new, which is sad. I wish they, had a better way of bringing young people back in, or even older people. I mean, the movie, the Dallas Buyers Club, the guy wrote it like 20 years earlier. It took him 20 years before somebody finally looked at it and said, damn, this is a good script. I want to make it. And it won an Academy Award, and it was a good movie. It was very well made, had good actors, good story. So it really does boil down to who or if the right person reads it and helps you. Sad, but that's the fact.
I want to like this movie more than what I do.
Mhm.
I'm not saying I wouldn't watch it again. If there's something more important though going on, I'm going to focus on that. This is not a movie like Die Hard, where when you pass by a TV with Die Hard on it, you immediately gravitate to a sofa and just watch Die Hard, because it's not that level of classic. It's good. It's
Mhm.
enjoyable. There's some parts of it that are really really good. The script on this movie I can't understate that enough. There's a lot of funniness here. There's a lot of good comedy here that will make you laugh. Um, it's just it's kind of a victim of itself though in that process because they wanted to keep things small. They wanted to like it's just this core group,
Yeah,
and
they had to though. That if you from what I could tell, it looked like you had a couple of guys that said, "Hey, here's the script," and they all worked together on it, critiquing different areas or whatever, and all wanting to put something in it. Right? They get the cartoonists together, and they probably had a bunch of good people, and they probably were friends with most of them. Okay. Some of the other people, and they draw some stuff out and they say, "Oh, this is good. I think this is going to be great." And then they start drawing and doing stuff. And then that's why you can tell that one cartoonist did this, one did that, and one did this. And I think there's like 3 or 4 different cartoonists that they actually drew for this film, because you can just tell. It does. The editing is excellent. I mean, because you can't really tell from one scene to the next until you start seeing the animation, really detailed parts of it, and you see that you can tell then that it's different. It's not the same person doing it. But
how much of the budget went towards
that's
the
what I'm
CGI?
saying.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I would like to find out how many people were involved with the actual drawings of the characters and the CGI parts, and what parts. I don't know. Like the water. You could tell that it was. It took you away from the other stuff, but it looked real. It looked like real water with animated grass around it and stuff like that. So there was just, I don't know. And the explosion when it went off, there was a lot of stuff in there. It looked like they put in after the fact type thing, like when they did get money. You see what I mean? So like when Weinstein got in there, he said, "Hey, his people went in and said, hey, let's do this, this, and that." And they added a few things to it. So you could see it go up in quality a little. But I'm talking about when they were first putting it together, it looks like you had at least three different animated cartoonists drawing, the pictures and the characters and stuff. Because it does look, some of the places look like stop motion almost. The quality of the CGI for it. Because even though it's on a screen, on a computer, and you're drawing it with a computer, it's still an artist drawing it. You see what I mean? They still have their signature. I mean, if you sit with a bunch of people that are doing that, you can tell this person from that person's work because of the way that they use their mouse or their keyboard or whatever and how they're doing it. So, one person can just go and have something that this looks like a masterpiece, and another person can spend months on it and it will never look like a masterpiece because they just don't have the same whatever it is. I can't explain what it is, but you can just tell there's a difference between them.
For those of you that didn't hear earlier, next week we're reviewing the Valentine's Day special movie Life Force from 1985, directed by Toby Hooper. We're going to be involving ourselves in a little bit of discussion. We might have Bear on, because I know Bear loves that movie. A lot of us love that movie. And this is going to be kind of like a time travel back 40 years. Where were you at 40 years ago? Were you even alive? And this is a movie that I've been wanting to discuss for a while because there's some really interesting effects that go on here. That movie's almost a phenomenon itself. So I'm looking forward to that discussion. I don't know if Crafting or Six Nations. I think
over the years.
Yeah, so you've seen it. What about you, Crafting Gamer?
I was like 8 or 9 when I saw it on television and it was edited, and then I saw it on VHS, and holy crap, jiggly, like, yay, boobies and booty, and there's monsters and space. And then as I got older and started watching the shit out of it, I was like, there are so many levels of this, because it like tries to tie in intergalactic vampires, freaking traditional vampire stuff, but it does it in this Toby Hooper sort of way that just makes it freaking phenomenal.
So
And,
I want to review that. I don't want to kick that.
and that's
I
all
don't
I'm
want
going
to
to
kick it down the curb. I want to watch it. We will be doing some other blaxploitation films throughout the year. Don't think that we're not doing it just because we're not doing it in February. I feel that like having a celebratory month for anything is just kind of wrong or off. I think we should be celebrating people that do good things all the time, like year
do
round.
it year
And so
round.
that's what I want to do. Black Dynamite is on the list. That's all I'm going to say. Grafting, do you have anything you'd like to finish with, sir?
Awesome.
I was going to tell him thank you for picking this movie because I'm glad I got to watch it. I thought it was good because during me watching it and me laughing,
Yeah, it was awesome.
I texted a few people and said, "You guys," and I sent them the trailer and said, "You guys need to watch this movie," because I thought it was funny.
Nothing I can think of right off the top of my head.
I can see why you like this movie. Like, if I was a kid and I saw this animation, and then you got the nostalgia factor, which is kind of a fuzzy lens at times, but this thing held up and it was entertaining. And it's kind of like when I saw The Hobbit, the animated Hobbit,
Mm-hmm.
Rankin Bass, back in the day. Like, that got me going on my love of mythology and folklore and Dungeons and Dragons and all the nerdy shit that I got into later on in life. But I also liked the story, and that ended up
Mm-hmm.
helping me get into different books and whatnot. But the animation itself, like every time I see that, I think of like all the fuzzy bits of my childhood still. And then like at that time, because that cartoon's as old as I am, so I saw this a couple of years after the fact. I think it was like 80, 81, something like that. It was about 3 or 4. I had a Fisher Price record player, and at that time, when
Yeah.
movies came out, you had the little storybook and the record, and you listen to it, and then I'd do the little chime, and you turn the page, and you can read the story and listen to the story, and that stuck with me. And I kind of wish we still had that, although it'd probably be MP3 players or something like that. Because if kids could read along or listen to an audio, almost like a radio drama, and see the movie at the same time, or some form of media like that, you get better appreciation for it. It adds another depth of flavor or color to what you experience. And so, like, watching this movie and then thinking back, like, okay, what was I doing 20 years ago? Like, what were the pop culture references, the soundtrack of my life while this is going on? Because like Smash Mouth popped up and I'm like, oh, cringe. That other group, I'm like, yeah, that was something that would probably be in the mall as we're cruising down to the food court or whatever, trying to get the hell out. And that kind of opened up some interesting feelings, because it wasn't just like you sit in a movie, you watch something for the first time, and then you're trying to digest the story, the dialogue, and then what you saw. This kind of opened up some other avenues in my brain that haven't been dusted off as frequently. It was interesting, and I liked it. So, yeah, I'll probably watch this again some other time, probably with family, because it's definitely a family movie.
Oh yeah,
and I can see why you like it. It's good. Oh, and Gushing Over Magical Girls. I got to check that out. So I'll take your advice about that.
Sounds like a good idea.
On that.
Thank you for stopping in.
It's probably not.
For those who stopped in.
It'll start up an anime addiction again. again.
Just be
and
careful
again.
what you watch in front of
Damn it.
your mother.
Don't get caught watching
Oh.
Life Force and with your mom.
I am well beyond that. When I was 21, I came clean with my mom. Well, I can't say it over live video, but we had a bonding moment, and I came clean with her. She came clean with me, and ever since then, we know our boundaries and we know what we're going to do. And as much as I love my mother, I've got other people to delete my browser history if I were to pass away unexpectedly. So, yeah.
Good.
So, Janet, anything you want to end with?
I just wanted to say thanks for letting me watch this. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I really did. I laughed a lot, almost through the whole thing. There was just a couple parts that were it took me out. You know, I was in, and then I just kind of went back a little bit. You know, looking at it because I could tell that the cartoon wasn't the same person doing that. You know, that character or whatever. But and I liked the music. I know you guys didn't, but I thought the soundtrack was really good. I liked it. So to each his own, I guess.
Soundtrack was okay. When they went to Smash Mouth, I'm like, yeah.
I was dancing along.
Yeah, I got to actually listen to the whole soundtrack to see if I can say, yeah, I can listen to like 90% of this, because it would come out and you dug a specific track of the movie. So then you go and buy the whole thing, or you go and get a single cassette or whatever. Yeah, I don't do that anymore. So now
it's
I'm a little
funny
more discerning.
because everyone that I talk to when they watch Guardians of the Galaxy, everyone, I don't care how old they are or how young they are, they all say they love the soundtracks to Guardians of the Galaxy. But then you'll see something like this or that other musical that we did, and they'll say, well, you know, I like some of it. It's just funny how that works out.
I just want to say I'm sorry for all of you that have a PlayStation Network pass, and yesterday you couldn't log on to it, like completely unable to use your discs, your drive, anything on there. There's not a single thing you can do with a PS5 when the internet is like taking a shit on you, and the PSN network is like, no available, no habla. And I felt sorry for him, because I read later on, thanks to Grums, because something happened worldwide, and the PSN network's like, nope,
They get
not into it.
hacked.
The PlayStation Network went down, and when it came back, Concord was installed on everybody's PlayStation. And here's we found it's a game that really isn't that good. And we found the only group of people here who demanded to play Concord.
I don't understand. I don't know what you mean.
Never mind. Okay. So thanks for the opportunity to give that joke. Thank you, 62 or 65 people that thought that was funny as shit. And you liked it. And a couple reposts there. Thank you. My name is Bruce, and we will be back next week to talk about the classic movie Life Force. Looking forward to this movie. Everyone, steer clear.
Oh, yeah. Steer
clear of your rampaging friends. Let them rampage. Let them do their thing. Just stay out of arm's reach. They gotta do their thing, and maybe they're gonna go have an "I Love Me" jacket. I don't know, but you guys be well. We'll see you next Sunday. Thank you so much.
Excellent.